Hello, everybody. My name is Josh, and I've got my finger on the pulse of music. Yeah, that's what we're doing here today. We're listening to some music. We're listening to The Ghost Inside. They just put out their new album, Searching for Solace, on Friday. So this is hot off the presses. We're going to figure out what is the next step in The Ghost Inside's evolution, their very long-running evolution. It should be a real thrill. I have not listened to it. I've heard the singles, and I don't know what's coming. I also see that I've got the album cover wrong in the background, and I will fix that in just a minute. So if you're new here, and I presume you are, because why not? What we're going to do today, we're going to listen to this album, and then we're going to listen to it track by track. We're going to review each track as we go. They will either be a flat line, a resting heart rate, or an off the charts, depending on how I like them. And then at the end, we'll rate the whole thing out of 10 and see how it all plays out from there. Before we do all that, though, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the band, set the stage for what we're listening to and my relationship to it, so you know if I'm a hater or a lover, you know what the where it's coming from, at least. So now you'll see in the background I'm getting the proper image up, although it's absolutely massive. It's insane. Yeah. So The Ghost Inside, that's what we're listening to. Make sure you like and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where you're going to be seeing shorts and little clips from these as we go along. Let's get into it. Thanks for joining me. I like that the chat went red as well. I didn't do that. I don't know why red feels appropriate, because the album cover is like all gray with like the tiniest amount of red in there. It's like thematic or something. It's almost like I've done it. Yeah, you know, the Mercury retrograde thing, you know that means absolutely nothing to me. So call me brave. I'll take it. I'll take the bravery. Ghost Inside, The Ghost Inside. Let's talk about them. They are from El Segundo, California. The Gundo, as we call it. I don't think anyone calls it the Gundo, but they're a 5-piece. They've had a lot of member turnover over the years, but also they've been around for 20 years. So kind of to be expected whenever you're that long-lived. Once a couple original people start leaving, it's gonna happen. So they have 1.3 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is our kind of popularity metric on the channel. And that makes them the most listened to band. Tied with Holding Absence, which we did in a practice stream. But for official live now Pulse of Music, they're the most popular band that we've listened to so far. They have 6 albums, and that's a lot, but they started in 2008 releasing an album every 2 years until 2014. Why? It's a tragic story. I think Mike knows, but I bet everyone else in the chat does not know. Kind of the defining moment of the Ghost Inside's career, unfortunately, was in 2015 when the band's tour bus was in a head-on collision with a tractor trailer. Both drivers died and everyone else survived, but 3 members of the Ghost Inside were hospitalized in critical condition, including the vocalist and the drummer and the guitarist. That's Jonathan Vigil, Andrew Tskadzik, and Zach Johnson. They were all hospitalized, and then the drummer, Andrew, lost a leg after being in a 10-day coma. So this was like absolutely devastating car accident, really intense stuff. And obviously that put them on a hiatus. And no, we'll save the Tortured Poets department for like 4 a.m. on a Saturday night in the future. I don't know why, but it feels like that's the kind of like rolling in late on a Saturday feels like the time to do it. Um, so that car accident kind of defined their early career, with the idea that maybe they were just going to be done forever. It would be totally understandable for a band who just went through not only the tragedy and trauma of that, but then the actual physical injury of it all. But then they eventually came back. They played a few shows in 2019, 4 years later, and then released their self-titled album in 2020. That was their previous album before Searching for Solace. So they sort of made a comeback of sorts, and this is their post-comeback album, for lack of a better word, since they already have come back, and now they're just kind of continuing to be a band. I also have to acknowledge a brief controversy about the band's bassist, which I didn't know of at all until I started doing my research for this, where in 2020, there was a big uproar about their bassist, Jim Riley, for some racial slurs that he used in the past, apparently on multiple occasions. Ghost Inside pretty much immediately fired him, but then a couple months later reinstated him anyway and said that it wasn't the right call to fire him. I don't know a close look at a lot of the details. I know that people from inside the scene were the ones calling them out of like, we know what your bassist was saying and we think it's messed up. So I don't know. I feel like it's uncomfortable that they just like turned around and brought him back so soon. So I don't really love that. I feel like it's possible, it's possible for people to learn and change and make dumb mistakes or whatever, but that's pretty quick, I think, to just sort of like go back on it and say, oh no, we shouldn't have done anything. For what it's worth, their own music has a lot of themes of redemption in it, like, redemption and comebacks and second chances and things like that. So I feel like it's arguably in keeping with the band to do something like bring him back, but that kind of left a little unfortunate taste in my mouth after I learned about that stuff. A little bit of a dark cloud over the message of positivity. But what isn't cloudy is this album. Searching for Solace just came out April 19th, this past Friday, via Epitaph Records, produced by like a murderer's row of producers. It's interesting that they don't credit like a single producer. Dan Braunstein is maybe the lead producer here, but they list like 3 or 4 other producers on different tracks. So that'll be an interesting thing to listen for if the tracks all feel cohesive, or if there's some things that stand out a little bit from the production side. So it's kind of interesting with that. And then how do I know what is the question for that? There have been 3 singles ahead of time, and I've heard them all. And on the sound, so listening to the singles, I think there was a little bit of trepidation in the scene as we heard, I can't remember which one, but one single in particular, I think set chills down the scene's arms as we think that they might be going Octane Core on us, which is like the Octane being the Sirius XM station, where like mainstream hard rock and like radio-friendly metal gets played. That's kind of connected to the band as well. So the band acknowledges that a little bit. They say, Jim Riley, the bassist, says, there's more singing and song structure than on the previous album, but there are also some of the heaviest songs we've done. Which anytime you hear a band say that, where they're like, we're a little bit more melodious, but also the heaviest we've ever been, your bullshit alarms should start ringing, because what that means is they are about to go full on radio rock. I think we've seen that already in the singles. So we'll see where it goes. It's not really rock, but just more like album oriented metalcore, for lack of a better word. They say we really know who we are, and we also feel comfortable stepping into the future. This is a new chapter, but it's not disconnected from what the band sounded like before. It's more of an extension of it. We're excited by it. So we'll see. A big cornerstone in the Ghost Inside's work, as I mentioned before, is positivity and kind of more uplifting, or just generally has like a more hopeful sort of bent to their lyricism. And so on the meaning of the album, the vocalist Jonathan Vigil says, "People always ask me how I remain positive. I'm realizing now that there's never really a time where you reach that point of happiness. It's a constant journey. I know that life is hills and valleys. You must be willing to embrace new things, stand up to yourself, and adapt, because the goalposts just move further away. The search for solace never ends." And that brings us to the title. That's exactly the giving away the ghost a little bit, giving away the ghost inside. That the searching for solace is about that hope that someday you can find some sort of happiness or contentment amidst the moving goalposts of life. And of course, that brings us to the artwork. I'm seeing messages that the chat it might be delayed. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm gonna pull up YouTube in the background to see if there's like anything obvious going on. But I'm at least seeing your stuff. I see it in my little control panel the same time that it shows up in the chat. So it looks like it's probably delayed by like 1 minute exactly, or maybe like 30 seconds. So it's not as bad as you think, but it is delayed a little bit. Yeah, the album artwork, you see it there. I can hide Spotify. We can see it a little bit. Well, I mean, that's super zoomed in, obviously, but there's this maze in stone with that logo, those triangles with the Ghost Inside logo on the top of this dude's head. Kind of an obvious metaphor given the title and the meaning, searching for solace, the maze of the mind, and, you know, the inner trappings of the mind. And I got to say, I'm kind of sick of Stonehead album covers. It's not like I could think of like a million off the top of my head, but you know, The Will of the People by Muse has a bunch of stone heads on it as well, and not a very good album. So that's the association that I'm running with when I see stuff like this. It just feels like a bit tired. Yeah, just let give you a little bit. Let's predict some of you already have done it, predicted the best song, I believe. Well, yeah, Mike's already listened to this album, so he already has predictions. Nikki says the best song will be Cityscapes, smack dab in the middle. I'm going to give it to Wrath. Just because I feel like that's going to be, by nature, heavier, and I think that will free up this band a little bit. But we'll see. So I know Mike's heard the band. Mike, do you consider yourself a fan of the Ghost Inside? As far as what I feel, I'm going to give my relationship a little bit. I've listened to all their stuff, but they've never been a band that like really clicked for me. I was really compelled by their story of the accident and their return. And I do appreciate the like mixture of metalcore sound and sort of pop punk song structures. But it all comes off kind of generic. Like their whole discography feels kind of generic to me. You know, once you've heard one Ghost Inside, you've kind of heard them all. And the good part about that is it's generic that I think is like good. It sounds fine. And usually the lyrics, like every now and then they will be really punchy and like hit a real raw nerve in a great way. I also think that they hit like a 2-step in breakdown, like really better than most, you know, it's just like absolute crisp, you know, halftime grooves. But yeah, it's sort of one of those things of like, if it's a flavor that you love, you'll really connect with it. And otherwise it probably won't be the most offensive thing, but it'll just be like a little bland. So we'll see. I think my favorite album, and Mike will be curious if you have a favorite album too. My favorite album from them, I think, is Get What You Give, but it's a really light, loosely stands above the rest. I think their whole discography is like 5 to 7 out of 10, which is, not that bad, but forgettable for me. Also, I think one thing that I do appreciate about this band is that they're old as hell. They've been around for 20 years. Jonathan Vigil, the lyricist and the only remaining member, is 35. So it's exciting to see a band older than me still putting out new stuff. So thank you from all of us old heads to be making new music. Let's get into it. Enough of me talking. Let's get into it. We're going to start out with Going Under, not the Evanescence song, but the Ghost Inside premiere from Searching for Solace. I know that this doesn't have lyrics, so I'm going to try to see if I can pull those up on the side again. We know I'm an expert at that. But here we go.
Keep me from going under.
I said the band is old as hell. As a band. It's nothing wrong with being 35. Already some clean singing. Yeah, nothing about that surprises me, Mike, at all. Oh boy. Okay, thank God there's at least something, some guitar riff in that generic mess.
Nothing is what it seems, running from everything. Will you save me? Keep me from going under. Nothing is what it seems, running from everything. Just darkness underneath. Keep me from going under. Can't find the air to breathe, and I'm drifting out to sea. Will you save me? Keep me from going under.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that to me is the definition of a resting heart rate. Like, no question. I love that you love it, Nikki. I love that you love it. Oh, that's hilarious, Mike. It just way behind, wondering what the hell is he talking about. Um, yeah, to me, that's a definition of a resting heart rate, because like I would be, if this was another band besides the Ghost Inside, I would be furious about this. This is every song played on like on Octane, on 1015. Bob Rocks is exactly it. Mike says it's the best song from the album. I completely buy that, because it's incredibly generic, but it kind of works. That's why I would be mad if it was someone else. But the Ghost Inside has already felt like this is kind of their next step if they wanted it to be, and they did. And this is exactly the song that I would expect the Ghost Inside to make if they wanted to make something a little more approachable and radio friendly. I can't believe it wasn't one of the singles, because it's like, I mean, it has a very defined chorus. It's like, this is waiting for the radio. Yeah, I mean, it was felt incredibly generic, the most generic lyrics possible, right? Going Under is how many damn metalcore songs or just rock songs in general have like used the drowning metaphor in such plain terms, like countless. Even just this verse right here, the very elementary school rhymes. It's time to break from the lies that poison my mind. I'll sever the ties. It's like, I wrote that shit when I was in 5th grade. Guarantee it. Guarantee my R2D2 notebook is full of this exact lyric. But it's still kind of good. Like it's generic as hell, has the most generic breakdown ever, predictably fades out to sort of like the stripped down sound before ramping back into the final chorus. It's like, this is rock music. This is I Prevail core to a T. And but it's like well crafted for what it is, and it's catchy, and it's got enough going on that it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. But boy, oh boy, let's move on, because Death Grip, I know, doesn't sound like that. So let's find out. Oh my God, Bree, yeah, I whatever I can do to do my service to Daddy Bezos. It's like a little more industrial, maybe. That's what I want out of a Ghost Inside chorus.
Feel the cold steel touch my fingertips. I see the Reaper, but I'm not afraid of him. I'm bubbling out, I'll just throw some dirt on it. Don't need a lifeline, I got a death grip. I got a death grip.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that was what they're referring to with the heaviest songs they've ever written. Just something about that the slow plodding kind of like heavy main guitar riff. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, yo, this is so unlike us. This is so intense. But realistically, it's definitely not. I think that's arresting for me because of the chorus-y thing that saves it. I'm not a big fan. If you've watched the stream before, as I know you all have, I'm not a big fan of the like cornball tough guy lyrics. So just the idea of don't need a lifeline, I got a death grip, I like roll my eyes out at what the referring to things as my enemies always is like, enemies. That's I don't think we're adults, we don't have enemies anymore. What's the other one? Pull the pin, I'll stand and wait, won't retreat, force them to blow me away, like army cosplay, tough guy stuff. It's just weak to me. And that main riff in the verses is so boring. I like that it's a little bit different from them, but I don't think it's very well executed. It just feels like it's plotting, and not like actually very heavy. But that chorusy middle bit, that was great. That's what they do best. I want them to launch into something, and everyone just breaks out into a two-step, hitting it really hard, and it's tough to hear those two songs back to back because I don't know which one I prefer, the like more generic, better crafted thing, or the like slightly different, not very good thing. I don't know. Let's see where they take us with number 3. I'm curious. I didn't look beforehand. The runtime on this guy, 37 minutes, 18 seconds. Yeah, we've got a good mix of music fandom in the crowd today and always. Pulling up the lyrics on the side again. Gotta give Daddy Bezos his Amazon shout out. What? That's not what this is. So we've returned to the sound of the first song. Then they just give you what you want. It's so complicated.
By now I should be used to the uncertainty. Can I await the overbearing
Yeah, I mean that's might as well be the exact song that we heard first. It's arresting to me. Um, it I'm not mad at them for this yet. Oh man, I don't know what I just did, but I took away the lyrics somehow. Um, not mad at them yet. I just it just feels like they're morphing into a different band, which is like bands do that. Um, I don't think I would be wowed by them if I heard them for the first time. I think I would be a little bit more willing to shrug it off if this was the first time I had ever heard The Ghost Inside. However, I do think if I was 12 years old and this was the first time I was hearing The Ghost Inside, I would be hyped. You know, the 12-year-old kid who was really into 3 Days Grace and starting to like learn about Avenged Sevenfold and starting to like get into some screaming music and like falling into being in love with the scene. I think that the catchiness of this and the like clarity of the choruses would be really exciting, mixed with like every song now they've thrown in kind of a double time, either a halftime section or a double time section that like really gets the blood pumping. But that's like amidst an otherwise incredibly predictable song structure. I didn't love the guitar tone on this one. It just felt like fuzzy. I want it to be like crushing and heavy, and it just sounds more like like kind of produced and buzzy in a way that I don't love. But that was the first time I noticed that, so I wonder if that was a different producer or if it's just in my head. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to Secret. Which now I'll have to recover the lyrics again. Thanks for playing the game with me today. This is kind of cool.
No escape, doesn't matter that I've changed, 'cause you still see me the same. Open your eyes, that's how the best dies. Don't look at me like I am the problem, when we both know who's stoking the flames. I've been burned too many times before, so tell me who's to blame. I'll tell you see.
That really sounded like JT Cabby from Era to me. Never thought of that before.
No escape from a never-ending haze. You're still blinded by the rain. Open your minds, leave the past behind. Pay attention to what's right and the wrong. You never listen when I yell, so I'll tell you a secret.
You never listen when I yell. That sounds like a parent. All these advertisements are killing me, but I don't want to keep resizing the freaking window.
I've been burned too many times before, so tell me who's to blame. I'll tell you a secret. I've outgrown everyone you know, but you won't believe it. 'Cause all of the time you're sleeping, I've been dreaming. I'll tell you a secret.
Uh, okay. It's that happened. That was a song. Again, it's not offensive. Uh, to anything except my sensibilities, really. Just boring, but good. You know, like we've heard that song twice before on this album, and I didn't dislike it either time, but it's not exciting. Uh, just looking for something a little bit more. And we'll see if that starts to make me angry or if it's just like kind of okay the whole time. Right now, it's feeling kind of okay. Here's Split, which again, like, starts with a cool little synthy run guy. This is like Budget Born of Osiris.
Another crack in the ice under my feet. Another cloud in the sky. In the shadow of an unseen enemy. But I'm not ready to die. Am I paranoid? Can't trust my eyes. So close to giving up. Fear on overdrive. It's a vicious cycle. Got me spinning in a downward spiral. Vicious cycle. Inescapable paranoia.
This is one of the singles. Yeah, this is like the latest single, I think.
Afraid on every side. Another day looking over my shoulder. Another sleepless night. Losing my hold on reality. My world is starting to slip. Am I losing it? Am I paranoid? Can't trust my eyes. The fear is winning, and it drags me down to another vicious cycle. Got me spinning in a downward spiral. Vicious cycle, inescapable paranoia. Afraid on every side, free fall, default. Vicious cycle, inescapable paranoia. Afraid on every side. I feel my sanity split. I'm fucking losing it.
I just want more from these breakdowns.
Another crack in the ice under my feet. Another cloud in the sky. In the shadow of an unseen enemy. I feel my sanity split. I'm losing it.
Yeah, I think that one's a flat line for me, honestly. I don't know what the hell this advertisement coming up is. What did I put it in somewhere else? Aha, I did. Yeah, that's a flat line for me. It it just feel like lyrically it's devoid of any real take. And sonically, you know, they do the thing of pulling all the sound out right before the breakdown, which is supposed to make the breakdown hit harder. But all the breakdown is the same guitar riff and the same drums that's over these like verse sections. And so it's not even enhanced in any way. It's not heavier. We've been hearing that this whole fucking track, and you just couldn't like bear to write a breakdown. Or it's honestly as much on the producer as it is on the Ghost Inside's songwriting. Like, just Add some panning, you know, like do something to make that section actually sound heavier and bigger. Otherwise, we're just like wasting time listening to the same damn thing we've listened for 3 minutes. So I don't know. Yeah, for me, it that feels worse than the generic radio songs because it's just like I would rather listen to those generic radio songs than I would this, which is like extra generic metalcore song. No, absolutely nothing standing out to me. Um, all right. Well, we're approaching the halfway point. Our next song is over halfway through. Wash It Away. Oh my God, that's a lot of words. Well, we can already tell this is probably more of a radio song. Yeah. You can't tell me that Skillet didn't write this song. That's old people music right there, baby. Oh, this was a single too. I remember this one. Every time. Pull the lyrics, pull the sound right before the chorus kicks in. It works. There we have it. Yeah, I mean, like all the other ones for me, it's just a fucking resting heart rate. It's probably the chorus, the ending of the chorus will probably be in my head at some point over the next week. And I'll be like, what was that song? And then I'll be like, oh yeah, The Ghost Inside. Right. Wash It Away. Cool. But it's nothing groundbreaking. What are we feeling? How are we feeling in the chat about these like more radio friendly songs? Nikki, I think you said you liked them a lot more before. Sponsored by Irish. Oh, yeah. Why not? You just gotta you gotta break at the shore and take care of your body odor. Those are very important things. Um, no, but I feel like it's it this hearing this album is making me appreciate um bands like We Came as Romans, Wage War, um to an extent I Prevail. I've kind of sold them I think with their last album or two, but like bands that are catchy yet heavy. It just feels like, Wage War in particular. I've ragged on Wage War for sounding like generic metalcore, and they tend to skew heavier than this, I think, even in their light moments. But I just they're just making more interesting music, and they're writing more interesting lyrics, and they're trying to like tackle a variety of things. But like how many times have we heard this shit? Um, it's not a bad song. It's just barely anything, you know? All right. Nikki's best song coming up next. Cityscapes. Let's find out if she's right. Pulling up the lyrics. It's just an advertisement. What the hell am I capturing then? I appreciate that there's a build here.
All the city lights I'm seeing, they're the only dream I believe in. I'm trying for you. I'm dying for you. I said hello, I said goodbye, and I'll see you again in the next life. I'm trying for you. I'm dying for you. Every time I feel the nights grow cold, your memory reminds me to stay cold. And even though sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours, this is a struggle, this is my story. And every time I feel the nights grow cold, your memory reminds me to stay cold.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's still arresting for me, but I think I agree, Nikki. That might be the best that I've heard so far. I appreciate that it has like a trajectory. It has a place that it's going. And yes, there's a chorus, but even that at least has some build to it between the different choruses. It is still formulaic, but it's a different formula than we've heard on the previous like 5 radio songs. This would have been better with just like something that the Ghost Inside does not do, but an absolutely ripping, shredding solo at the end here between the last chorus and the sort of like post chorus. I was waiting for someone to just like rip into a solo, but it reminded me, the song reminded me of a Bullet for My Valentine song off of, I believe it's off of Fever. A Place Where You Belong is what it reminded me of, except that A Place Where You Belong, I think, is a better song. Just like it's got even more of a build in this and is like a more intricate song. But yeah, the lyrics hold it back. The formulaicness holds it back. It's got all the same problems as every other radio song that they've done has. I also think the vocal performance of like city lights that mean is like mumbles through city lights, and like that's the only phrase that suffered from that. But I heard it's the first line of the damn song, and it's like it sounds like he's slurring his words. But I do think that that's maybe my favorite song so far, which isn't saying much, but there we have it. So far, Nikki, you're taking the cake. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to Earn It. Listen up. I need you to hear me out. Listen up. I love seeing the lyrics before I hear them.
Listen up! I need you to hear me out, so I'll ask this question. Think hard. Are you willing to risk it all to learn this lesson? Embrace the change. Sometimes in life there's pain. The things that give us hope can also take it away. You say it won't be easy. I know it never is. Fight through the fear inside me. Won't dim the light in my chest.
That's right. This is your last chance. Give it all you got. Whatever you've given, give it even more than that. It's your last chance. Get up here. Oh wow, a metal song about striking matches and lighting fires.
The truth is harder than the lie. You sealed your fate, you chose your side.
Kind of like the chromaticism of that little riff though.
But now I draw the line. You say it won't be easy. I know it never is. Fight through the fear inside me. Won't dim the light in my chest. I'm afraid of falling, so put me to the test. 'Cause I know that I'm gonna earn it. You strike the match and I'll burn it down. I earned it, and you didn't. If you want it, go get it. If you want it, then come and get it, yeah. You say it won't be easy. I know it never is. I know there's demons out there. I lay them all to rest.
Okay. Yep. Flatline for me on that one. Um, I, was it the most offensive thing I've ever heard? No, but we're getting to the point now where I just I need more. Uh, I need something deeper, musically, sonically, and lyrically, right? And they gave me something deeper sonically here. That it sort of felt like a seesaw, little like chromatic riff section in the middle. Um, I really like that. I thought that was like a cool, very simple but very cool riff. It was like really two riffs back to back. That sounded really neat. But then everything else was just like incredibly generic again. Like strike the match and I'll burn it down. You know, burn it down is such an overloaded lyric. That it's just like it's ridiculous. But I think the problem is like show don't tell. The Ghost Inside has never been very good at that. I think they've been better at it in the past, but it's like this whole notion of I earned it and you didn't. Something about that just like doesn't feel like them to me. Like I feel like the Ghost Inside that I think of, which again, like I'm not the best with lyrics. We've gone over that. The Ghost Inside for me has always been about inside. It's always been about like overcoming your own demons and like, yeah, that you got to earn it, but there is no you didn't. It's mine because I'm better than you or I've done the work and you haven't. It's more like it's mine because I've done the work, period, or I will continue to do the work so it will continue to be mine. And I just this feels like bluster and like hollow, childish. You're 35. I want some depth and maturity, and I just haven't learned not to expect that. And I just wish it was more fun. Okay, so we're on to track 9, which was my number 1, Wrath. We'll find out. I'm hoping for something heavy. I'm hoping for something contrary to what I just said. I'm hoping for something with a little bit of bite to it, with a little bit of anger. Let's see. Well, it already made me angry by not having lyrics.
I pulled you out from a burning wreck, but I'm the one with the broken neck. I took a chance and let you in, but it meant nothing in the pit of winds above, so below. And now you can't make me kneel. Tell me how does it feel when you play God? Tell me how does it feel when you play God? I know your wrath isn't real. You thought you leave me for dead. Just know there's consequences when you play God. Shadow boxing with my own fists. You're pushing bats on every miss.
Yep, double time.
Saved your life,
Oh.
tried the dirt again. I should've let it bleed out of the pain that
Don't love that it stopped, but let's keep it going.
your fate is sealed. Tell me how does it feel when you play God? Tell me how does it feel when you play God? I know your wrath isn't real. You thought you leave me for dead. Just know there's consequences
Not the fade out. Not the fade out. Oh my god, and it's so long too. It's like 14 seconds left. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't expect it to fade out like that. Um yeah, so rating wise, I do still think that it's arresting. But I that could be up there. That's definitely among the favorite, if not my favorite. So I might have nailed it for myself again. I don't like the fade out. I don't like that double time fake out in the second verse. I'm like, just take us to double time and keep going. And they do at least give us the chorus, the second chorus, progresses into that double time section as well. So we do get more of it, but like it was so much. It was just plain blue balls to get it coming in and then immediately disappearing. The first line of this, pulled you from a burning wreck, it made me lean forward because like I described the story of their accident, and like that could be literal. I don't think it is, which is why then it kind of like I feel like the potential emotional impact of it dissipates slowly over the course of the song. But like that being the first line, immediately I'm leaning forward. I'm like, oh, that's like metaphorical, but it also could very much be literal. This could be coming from a deeper place or a more specific place. So that was cool. I don't know who this is about or what the story is, but I'm more interested in the story because of that, because it feels more personal. I do wish that the breakdown was better. I feel like they are just like flubbing all these breakdowns. Like, how do you do that if that's like, not that they're like breakdown kings or anything, but it feels like that's one of the things that they know how to do. And I think I've said it before, I think it's like a little bit on the Ghostin side, and it's a little bit on these producers. I don't love that production needs to be the way that we make something heavy or makes it feel like a development in the song, but like throw in some, really high guitar, like a droning high guitar note, or like a very sporadic melody or some kind, or just throw in another layer somehow. Synths, for Christ's sake, like just make something. If the bass line of the breakdown is not going to be very different from the rest of the song, and it's not going to be particularly heavy or crushing, then like build it up with layers. I at least that's what I would prefer. So I'm kind of looking askance at the producers here with my left eye, and then with my right eye I'm looking askance at the Ghostin side, being like, that's the best you got, that's like the most crushing breakdown you can come up with. But all that aside, I do think that this was like more successful of all of their heavier songs, one of the more successful ones that had enough of a different character to it, and I kind of had this sludgy, slow feeling that unfortunately faded the hell out. And just end the song. Figure out how to end the song. But yeah, let's get into the home stretch here. Reckoning. Sounds so awkward. What's the point? Oh my god. Why? Okay. Okay, yep. That one's a flat line for me. Uh first of all, it's sickening that Kerrang gave this album a 4 out of 5 stars, but I also think Kerrang doesn't know how to give a rating less than 3 stars. And it's not stars, Mike. It's Ks. They give their albums a K rating, and they make sure to spin the second or third K backwards so it doesn't look like KKK. But I always found that was very weird. Maybe they changed. They used to give them Ks. But that was like I wasn't that mad at it until that like very produced part where they like chopped sound, the chopped vocals at the very end of the song, because like you only pull that shit, and especially when they pulled back too, like we've heard that before in this album in the context of radio friendly like hit single style songs, and this isn't that. It's much more heavy. It's got much more heft to it. So why the sudden 80% through the song, it's like, you know what this needs? We're going to treat it like it's a radio hit and chop up, glitchify and pull back and repeat. And it just like, it felt like they didn't know what this song was, or they didn't know, they don't know what they're putting out in the world. And I guess like, I don't listen to Sirius XM, so maybe it's perfectly normal for a song that's like mostly screaming to have these sort of more pop oriented production effects. But like, holy shit, that felt like just so unnecessary. But that's just one complaint. I would also say, is there not a more awkward sounding lyric than the word around here? Not this time around. Like that. Is that just me? Am I crazy? Because the word around sounds like, it reminds me of like when a kid decides to like, and I've been this kid, when a kid decides to make a song for a class project, and they're like building up to the chorus of it, and it just sounds like so stilted and awkward and weird, and they're like shoehorning like a fact into it. That word around sounded exactly like that to me. It could have just been, but not this time. No, not this time. It's like, just this song made it feel like they forgot how to write music, honestly. Cries of the past are beckoning, calling for a reckoning. What a Rhyme Zone ass chorus, rhymezone.com. I want to write a song called Reckoning. What rhymes with reckoning? Deckoning, heckoning. No, that sounds bad. Beckoning. The verse wasn't half bad, though. I'll give him that. All right. Let's close this out. Sometimes the last tracks of an album are the best and, most interesting. Let's see if Breathless has that for us today. what I hear so far. Okay. I'm kind of torn on the ending. Yeah, I think that's arresting. Um, I that's surprising, Nikki. I'm surprised that you feel that way, but I kind of agree. Um, everything's very very surface level and generic. But that so I gave that one a resting, but I feel like that one's one of the better restings. That's definitely towards the top of the resting for me. I feel like the verses feel classic Ghost Inside in a way that is like really satisfying. Um, like accessible but driving and like it feels like metalcore, but it feels like metalcore that feels like pop punk. Um, the drummer, I want to say finally showing up. I mean, there may be in bits and pieces elsewhere, but there's a nice little drum fill in the middle of there that was the first time where I really perked up and I was like, oh shit, he's there. And I haven't seen them live, and I haven't seen them on like on YouTube. I haven't seen them perform live at all. But the fact that the drummer has one leg, I mean, he's an amputee because of the accident, makes me want to watch him. I feel like that's super impressive and really cool. But yeah, he finally like made his appearance in this song. Choruses are weak for sure. Finally, this is also, I feel like they had more than one guitar part. I mean, there's a couple sections that a couple previous songs that also had more than one guitar part, but I feel like this was like pretty clear that they had like guitar as a main riff and guitar as a rhythm backing, and like almost using it as atmosphere instead of just like one main guitar line kind of throughout. It felt like it was like deserving of its pulled back section. Like the song was built to support it instead of it just kind of like showing up out of the blue as a classic song structure thing. And yeah, I'm torn on the ending. Torn on the ending of like pulling all the way back to just Jonathan and an acoustic guitar. How do we feel about that? It's kind of poetic. I'm glad that they went the whole way with it, because when they started pulling back to like just the produced vocals, I wasn't into that, but it goes all the way to just him, and yeah, I don't know. Kind of wanted to just end on and on and on, bam. But yeah, it's also funny, Nikki, because I feel like Paleface is the exact opposite. Whereas like the Ghost Inside typically is like, keep going, whatever you're facing, fight through it. You've got this. You can come out the other side stronger. And Paleface is like, end it immediately. Do whatever it takes. You're done. I don't want to live anymore. So I'm just like exactly the opposite. Um, yeah, that was Searching for Solace from the Ghost Inside. Let's give this thing a rating, shall we? I'm trying to find the lyrics to get rid of. Where is this thing? This guy. All right. Yep. Rating time for Searching for Solace. Send in your predictions now. For me, this is exactly what I thought they would make, which is an album crafted for popularity and radio play and accessibility. I hear this band and I hear a gateway band, and there's nothing wrong with that. I hear this. Maybe the Ghost Inside, to some extent, maybe has always been a gateway band, but just for different segments of people, right? Like maybe 20 years ago, they were a gateway band into the hardcore scene because they were like a little bit more approachable, but still had a lot of that sensibility and a lot of that sound. And now it feels like they're a gateway band into kind of metalcore, melodic, hardcore metalcore. Just they feel like they're another rung before where they used to be, right? Like would you would hear this on the radio as you're passing through, think that's really cool, and then like you'd get to the next step, which maybe would have been the Ghost Inside 20 years ago, and now it might be, yeah, early Wage War or Fit for a King or something like that, and then may potentially beyond, heavier and heavier if that's something that you take to. So I'm not mad at hearing a gateway band. I am just left with the absolute lack of substance throughout. And that's lyrical substance. I mean, it feels like it even feels less substantive than past Ghost Inside albums lyrically, which is like always been a complaint for me. There's not a lot of things not a lot of tracks here that felt like they really like punched me or made me feel like especially full of something. Whereas there have been previous Ghost Inside tracks amidst, the generic sounds and the generic words of an album. One track will be like, ooh, that's really getting to me. And there wasn't really a single one on this track. There are like 4 or 5 songs that are completely interchangeable, and they're completely made for the radio, and they're fine. They seem well made and empty. The heavier stuff, I wanted it to hit harder, And in general, it didn't. It wasn't offensive, but it just didn't land just a punch. And so when I think of a rating, I know that I gave the Alpha Wolf album, Half Living Things, a 5 last week, which means that I'm in between 2 for this. And I think I'm torn because I know that I'm never really going to revisit this album. I mean, like, if I put on the Ghost Inside, I probably won't skip the radio songs, and I probably will skip a lot of the other songs. But I certainly will not seek out this album, which is largely how I felt about the Alpha Wolf album too. The Alpha Wolf album had some offensive songs on it, but I enjoyed the non-offensive songs more. So, I mean, fuck it. We'll say it. It's a 5.
Okay.
I thought I was going to talk myself into a 4. But I just can't. I think this is like the definition of a nothing. This is the definition of a nothing album. It's not bad. It's not good. It is, to me, the end of being interested in the Ghost Inside. So that brings us to the end. Thank you for sticking with me for searching for solace with Of the Ghost Inside. Also, I should note a shout out real quick before I do the wrap up thing. The Ghost Inside is touring, believe it or not. With who? They're touring with Paleface Swiss. I'm trying to look up on the side who else they're touring with. Great American Ghost, Bleed From Within, and Paleface. And as much as I just said I'm not interested in the Ghost Inside, I guess I meant I'm not interested in them in the future, because that tour is like heavy as hell. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Great American Ghost or Bleed From Within, but like Paleface and Ghost Inside, Paleface is going to like play circles around the Ghost Inside. I mean, except people really do love the Ghost Inside, so probably not quite that bad, but it just is like it's one band on its way out, a legacy band on its way out, and one new hype band on its way in. And I just feel like you're going to be so tired from being pummeled into oblivion with Paleface that the Ghost Inside stuff is just not going to hit like it did. But anyway, thank you for joining me for the Ghost Inside, searching for solace. Remember to like and subscribe and follow me on all the social platforms. Next week, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday. We're going to be listening to the new album from Microwave called Let's Start Degeneracy, which is an absolute... I mean, I think it's a horrible album title. Let's Start Degeneracy. But Microwave is a band that I've got mixed feelings on, but I've also seen them like 3 times, twice. I've seen them twice, and really, really, really hold some of their songs. Like they might have like a top 50 song for me of all time, and I'm interested in seeing what they got, because they've been changing their sound a little bit in recent years. So yeah, this might be the one band that everybody in the chat has heard of and has heard at least a song from, which is pretty cool. So like and subscribe, get notified for that. We'll be back for that. And then that'll be it for a little while. I'll talk about that next week. Not going anywhere permanently, but just to France, no big deal. And until then, we'll listen to Microwave next week. Thanks for joining with me. I always say joining with me. That's something, I don't know what that is in my brain. I say joining with, and I don't mean it. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, My name's Josh. I've got my finger on the pulse of music. See you next week.